All right, Natasha, you want to do the opening or the introduction today, or
Sure, we can. Are we live? Oh, yep. It
we?
appears that we are.
Okay.
Yep, that's what it says. So, I've already kind of dropped in the group that there really isn't much on the economic calendar today. Um, we do have Powell speaking on the Hill tomorrow as part of Fed testimony. Him and a couple of other Fed members will be testifying. My experience has been, depending on what it is that they say, that can create some volatility in the market. And then we have CPI coming up on Wednesday, which is, that's going to move the market one way or the other. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about was the move on Friday. We called it real time here, but on the S&P, but that move, I think, was fueled by the concept of reciprocal tariffs that Trump mentioned, or it wasn't Trump who mentioned it. Somebody, one of these talking heads, said something about it, and then the next thing the market is dropping. Then Trump came back out, and what he said was that he would have an announcement about that this week. Um, so just because we're up this morning, I don't know that necessarily means that we're going to continue to stay up as a result. And just be prepared. Any trader, I think I say it probably, once a session, take profit when you see it. Because who knows? The 6,100 level on the S&P 500 has been really, really, really hard to take out. And we keep bumping up against it and coming back down. The chart suggests, that it should come down, but there tends to have been a catalyst to each one of these major drops. So that's what I got, and I'm getting ready to kind of move locations. We're gonna go from the kitchen. There we go. We're gonna find another place to be where it's a little more quiet. So I don't know. I know you posted something this morning, Leslie, regarding the 25% tariffs on steel.
So I don't typically trade steel. It's probably one of those stocks that was in my circle of 20, but I do kind of trade and follow momentum, and so I do think that is something that will move markets. And so I just shared all of the US based steel companies in the mentorship chat. But I do think that because of, and then that other article that I shared in there about US steel, I do think that is a great potential trade. Um, so you can look at that chart when we get into looking at charts. Been reading news this morning. I don't have anything really that I want to talk about specifically, because all my stuff kind of aligns with charts. I do think, though, that there are some interesting things from earnings that we should be looking at. I know you've been calling Twilio.
Twilio, LRCX already had its earnings, and it had a nice move. But you know what I'm kind of seeing? I feel like what I'm seeing is that the smaller cap companies are moving better on earnings than the mega caps.
I kind of posted something to that effect this morning. It's just so evident. And I think that I've posted before about the changing of the guard. And if you are kind of stuck in antiquated trading habits, it might cost you. Not in terms of losses, but you will probably miss out on some of the significant gains that are set to occur. Like, I'm upset, but I have an idea of how to address this. We didn't even talk about or look at Monday.com. And so this morning I wake up, I see the calendar and I see Monday.com. So I go look at it because it's a tech stock. It's innovative. It's all of those things. And it was up like 60, $80. And then I go look at McDonald's, which is to the point that we were just talking about, and it's up $4 or $5. but I have a plan for how we can make sure that we are always on top of, ahead of, as a matter of fact, earnings. So that plan, Natasha, involves our, what did we call them? What did I call them? Hi. Um, damn, out the scholarships, the scholarships. I can't remember
Okay.
what I was, but possibly
Shop has earnings tomorrow before the open.
who has?
Shopify.
Oh yeah, did I put that in the chat or not? I started to type it. I try not to overwhelm them, but there are Zebra. Do you know what Zebra is?
No. Or is that the company that makes the printers?
They probably do make printers. I would imagine that that's a part of it, but they make the handheld devices that the delivery companies use. So your FedExes and Amazons and
Yep.
so forth. So that one interests me. Um, your Coinbase is reporting on Thursday.
I know. I'm still sitting, still holding. Took some profit on Friday when it had its nice little pop. And I'm still sitting here in my 305s.
I'm interested in
Yes.
Datadog, but I think it ran. I think it ran. That's why I need to be. I'll say
Um,
I need to be personally more ahead of earnings. Oh,
well, it looks like we've got some decent stuff this week. We got Reddit, we got AppLovin, we have Cisco, MGM, poor little Tink Tink. That might actually be an interesting
I
one.
looked at
Uh,
I looked at Cisco this morning. Kind of didn't like where they were, if I remember correctly.
okay.
But I mean, it's worth looking at. A different perspective certainly would not hurt.
Let's see.
Enbridge, we traded Enbridge last week, I think, and they report on Friday, it seems. So let's get, I mean, do you have any charts you want to look at while I get myself situated over here, making my coffee?
Um, I like to look at crowd. It's doing its thing. I don't know. Really, I mean, it has a tiny bit more it can run, not enough for me to be interested. Um, my favorites are take a look at what it's doing. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. So if you guys remember and you guys were here um, on Friday, we talked about a nice retrace once we approached 6100. And I went out for a cigarette break and we did exactly that. Um, Interestingly enough, I know we've talked about a couple of times, but on the daily, we are holding above these moving averages quite nicely. Um, let's undo that. Um, a pre-market, it's not moving. Okay, so I don't have any pre-market candles on, but we are up. We are up actually a good clip. And so what I'm expecting to see exactly the same action that we saw again on Friday. We just don't seem to want to break this 6100 level. And every time we get close, it's been a put. If you look going back to about the 23rd of January, we get there and then we come right back down. So I'll be looking for a short setup. I'll be looking for a short setup as we approach that 6100 level. And then we can look at NDX. I'm imagining it is doing about the same thing. And maybe QQQ is a better a better chart to look at since it's moving pre-market. But we see the same, you see the same exact action across the board. I'll be waiting for the cues. Hopefully they'll approach 530 again, and give me a nice drop. Doesn't seem out of the realm of possibilities that we get there today. Um, but still above those moving averages. And like we talked about, being able to get some bearish continuation, um, we're going to have to see, at least on SPX in my mind, we're going to have to close below about 5,900 in my mind, before we see any further downward movement. Anything could happen, and drop us all the way back to 5782. And I would be eyeing those targets once we're able to consistently close, below that level, below this 59.96 ish level. If we start getting a few daily closes below that, I would be looking out way far below. Same thing here, though, for bullish continuation above where we are, we have to break this 6,100 level, um, and hold. We need some closes above that for continuation. But what I see here is, in my mind, an excellent pattern, that's been quite reliable for making some money up and down, up and down, up and down. Um, because we're pretty much range bound right now, and it's a good, what are we seeing? We're seeing a good 60, 70 points worth of range. That's money. I do also, I think I want to revisit this Roblox chart, as we called that the other day, and retrace, and it came back down quite nicely. I think we're going with Leslie's theory on this. What, I guess after the 21st expiration, it should start moving again. I don't see. I don't know. I don't think that we're gonna get too much below the 66.28 level. Maybe we get down to about 64.50. But I think it's going to make a nice move up, and I would probably be looking at a strike somewhere in the $70, $72 range, maybe 3 months out, for an expiration. But I'm quite intrigued by this one. Something else that is catching my eye, and I don't know if any of you, entered with us, on, I think we called SMCI Thursday and Friday, actually, but it's moving. I think that 42 that we discussed, I think it get there before earnings, but it bounced right here off of this 200 when we called it, and it's just been up, up, up.
So that's the next thing that I kind of wanted to do. Um, is go over some of the stuff that we called last week. And so while you got your charts up there, SMCI was one of them. Let's look at lower. You said you don't have pre-market turned on?
Mm, I don't think my pre-market candles are not turned on.
Let's look at the 15 and let's just go through. I took some screenshots from the chat. So let's look at some of the stuff that we called last week. I know Enbridge, SMCI, of course, was one of them. I can tell you exactly what the contract was here in a second. Called a Microsoft put RXT call. SMCI was a February 21st $40 call. Teledoc is a good one that I think is worth taking a look back at.
Okay.
TDOC. Yeah, Teledoc was called several times. But most recently Thursday, I called it Thursday and again on Friday. But before that, it was January 28th. And I just tend to think that it's time. mm, the chart makes it really apparent, but that it is time for telehealth to run. And so TDOC is one, HIMS is another that I've been calling for a few weeks now. And they've been heating up. It might be time for them to cool down. I don't know. Let me see what you got up there on your screen.
I had SMCI up, but I'm pulling TDAC up for you now.
Okay. I can't
Eh,
really do any
it's
hardcore analysis looking. Let me see if I'm at.
at my chart because you hate it.
Not even because I hate it, but I gotta move stuff around and let's do that. Let me do that real quick. Unless you have something else you want to look at, I'll share my screen and let's see. Window. What I have to go through to share these charts is crazy. Here we go. All right. So let me need to just make sure. Okay, so you guys do see my charts. So let's see. Let's be transparent and see when. I think Teledoc was first called on the 26th, and it might have had a lot of. It was called on the 28th. So let's see if it. Yep, it suffered the same drawdown, the market wide drawdown from. It was called a $15 call on the 28th, and so we had drawdown about 81 cent. Bounced right off the 200 moving average, which is what everybody in the mentorship knows to look for. Um, Traded through our lower time period moving averages, the 21 and the 50, traded back into those, and it's just been off to the races since then. But let's try to get an idea of. This is why I like the higher time frame charts, because if you look here, you really have no idea. If you're looking at an hourly chart or a 15, you really have no idea what the trade potential or the profit potential is. But if you go out to some higher time frames, you could draw a fib here. Let's do that. Let's just put a fib here and see. And Natasha, you can see what my levels are now. What's above my one and below my zero. But we've hit a significant profit target already. Change this template. Hit first and second profit target already. So I would expect, like I said, for these to cool off. Maybe trade down into this area or possibly even back to the one. But depending on, let me see what contracts. Okay, so on the 28th, I called a January 26th. Looking at a screenshot. I called a January 26th, so a leap, $15 leap on Teledoc, which means that you're in good position if you took that contract to be looking at a fib here. And this will also apply to HIMS as well. Don't want to go out quite that far. But if you took that leap, you should be drawing your fib back here and aiming for your 886 at minimum. And so I would think that within the next, oh, we report in February. So it's quite possible that within the next few weeks, what is that? Yep, within the next 2 weeks, we'll be in the money, but by perhaps March, we'll be deep in the money. And so first profit target on this higher time frame fib is $25. And that's why I like the swing trade. That's why I trade the way I do. So I will hold Teledoc. Um, at least till June, probably. But let's look at China. There have been some fears for obvious reasons.
Yeah, China is.
No, go ahead. Been some fears for obvious reasons around holding these over the weekend and even overnight. But like I said, I think that it's time for China's resurgence, and that everything we see in the news and politically will lend to that. That's just my theory. Did you have something you wanted to say about?
No, I mean, it just, China has definitely gone above and beyond here. And you would have thought, with all of the tariff news and all that other great stuff, that it would be holding it down. But I guess, to your point, you can't hold it down if it wants to run, and it's been held down for quite some time.
So I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on here, and you remember Trump's first presidency and how it's the same. It's the same, but it's different, or maybe it is the same in that everything that he's doing and saying now is having an immediate impact on the stock market. And so I think that all of this stuff that is going on with China is just smoke screens and political posturing, and that behind the scenes, perhaps, they are making progress in negotiations, and that people are going to really miss the boat. Because let's look at Baba's former glory. People going to really miss the boat on this. And I don't want to be one of those people. So let's draw a fib. Um, I think that within the next 3 to 6 months, we get back to the 0.5, which is at 188. And so I'm gonna position myself accordingly. I don't expect anybody to share my theory or to not have fears around China, but I just think that after now 4 years and several months of trading downward as a result of politics, the stock has got to come back. And it could go to the 0.5 level and then trade off again. But I do think that we make it to that 188 level. So,
Hmm. I could see it quite easily.
yeah. I
Quite
mean,
easily.
yep. I jumped in 100s and 110s back in December. And I had to sit through all of that consolidation and back and forth. But now things are looking good. I'm revenge trading Baba, by the way. Let's see. Pre-market movers. Now, another trader, I like penny stocks. Another trader posted about this company here, and I had never heard of it. I don't know where she got it from, but I'm going to buy some shares based on where we are. And here's why. Number one, because it just bounced off my 200 moving average. Number two, because it just bounced off my 200 and my 7.9 fib level. But based on what they do, based on the numbers, the financials, this is something that I would hold long term. And I prefer, unlike I think a lot of people, to buy it down here at $1.50 instead of wait until it's $10 and it's on everybody else's radar. So I'll be buying that today. Um, hmm. I think New is one of those steel. Yep, New is one of those steel companies. You can see it running already. X running already. So 43 is a good, easy profit target on, or I'll call it a resistance level on X. And so if you're looking for contracts on that, I would stay somewhere in between in the money, at the money, and about $40. And again, we're not financial advisors, but this is what we're looking at and what we will be doing. Okay, RXT was another one that was called back in here somewhere. And it's a tiny little stock, but I like tiny little stocks because, like I said, I like to buy them while they're $2 and $3 and not when they're $23 once everybody else is interested. So this one has been running essentially since it was called. So can you remember anything else we played last week, Natasha, that I should look at?
What is that? AS. What's the one that you hit on earnings
Ooh, A.
and didn't realize?
It's a superconductor. AMSC. Yep,
Yes, the
AMSC.
superconductor.
Let's see where they are. Bless you.
CJ wants us to look at Google. Oh, thank you.
Wants us to look at what?
Google. Excuse me.
Okay. It's 9:26. So if you want to pull up Google,
I'm pulling it up
okay.
now.
I dropped my screen share. I'm gonna get signed into my trading accounts real quick. Um,
Um, we will. Let's see. Mm.
and what else?
So let's see what we got going on over here on Google. Well, just from what I saw, even before tossing a fib on it, it looks like if we're looking at it on the daily, it looks like it could potentially come down to the 200 moving average. It's not holding the 50 very well.
I think they bounce back on the 24th. Is that the Monday? Yep, I think they bounce back on the
Uh,
24th. AMD is now solidly moving up. Let's see.
yep. He's a net. Look at a net go.
Tesla's still dropping.
Um,
I bought Tesla puts on Friday and it is still dropping. It's trying to create a support. Um, let's see what else I'm in.
what is somebody's? So Antoinette wants to know what the FPay call would be.
I don't know if they have options. Let me check real quick. FPAY. Nope, you would have to buy shares on FPay. So I think it's at about a $1.60 right now. Up from a close on Friday of $1.40. Is that resistance? So I would buy it. I'm going to, I can't say what I would. I'm gonna set a limit order for FPay around, I don't know, the 200 is at $1.57. $1.50 and then probably $1.55.
And the market just opened. Market open. Let's take some money.
Indeed, I'm watching Amazon. See what they do. Alerts going off like crazy.
And here we go. App 11. Like everything seems to want to run. I like it. I like it. And just like that. Let's see. You know, these daggone dingy ding 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 ding
Imma
dings.
turn them off in a minute.
African is getting there. African wants 400. It wants 400 really bad.
Car, MTZ, NVS, so many things. I wish there was a way I could just mute these. Alerts.
Yeah, everything seems to want to run and run well.
And NVIDIA. What's NVIDIA doing? NVIDIA, go ahead there.
I think 135 ish, but we've been there. And so I think that red here, you know, they keep doing these red herring moves and dropping stuff. I think because of the big retrace, though, I think that we could see a really nice size move out of Nvidia for earnings. Really
That would
nice.
be the expectation, but just being honest, they have kind of turned me off to earnings, especially now I was up 53%, especially Mag 7 earnings. It's like uh you expect one thing and the chart says it should do that, and then you get a drop anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I want to sort by. SoFi gets no respect.
So we're still here. I'm just kind of managing my account and getting out of my Friday stuff and looking at trying to see what I'm getting ready to play next. Um, and that's
Tim, I'm holding Tim Teledoc. Let's see what Tim is doing. So if you're holding Teledoc, I want to see it is already hit a resistance this morning at like $14.30, the 0.5 fib level. And so I want to see it take that level out pretty early this morning and then trade back into it. If it continues to struggle at this level, I might take my profit because that you should definitely be in profit. I did get a retrace on FPay to about 153. Go ahead and grab some shares of that. Get it out of the way.
how many shares are you buying?
You all in my account.
Well,
I,
we'll
I would
consider it
never ask
appropriate.
you or anybody else how many shares they're buying.
Okay.
Um, but I like to buy in increments of 100, 500, or 1,000, depending on where it is on the chart and the price. So,
And I guess that was probably more, we're going small, medium, large size on something.
I guess small, medium, large depends on how much money you have, you know. So I am.
So yeah, I mean, I think it does depend on how much money you have, but I think that it also depends on Your
I'm trying
conviction
to
on
think
the
how I
income.
can say it. Like, I think that, okay, I could tell you this. I think that the goal would be like if I could get 10,000 shares of FPay. I like
Okay,
that. Look at the
so that's the
numbers.
conviction level there.
Huh?
Okay, I said that's the conviction level there. That's good.
Yeah, look
Um,
at the numbers real quick on, let's see, because I'm taking somebody else's word. But I'm gonna look myself real quick. Quarterly, annually, net margin, net income, net margin, 6.13%. Net income is now positive. Revenue is 38.59 million. I want to know, founded in 2006. Let me see if I can see. They're almost, to me, they almost are like a publicly traded rent-a-center. But I just believe that the economy is about to go so bad for people and that so many people are going to be on universal welfare that companies like this are going to thrive. Their all-time high.
I used to work for a rent center. Like that model is ridiculous.
It's like the pawn shop, I would think.
Mm,
Possibly even
I mean,
better.
I don't have a point of reference for the pawn shop, but
I think pawn shops do like 320% a year.
wow,
320% returns on their loans a year or something like that.
that's crazy.
Did you ever look at Google for CJ? I
I
can name
pulled
you
up the
names and
chart.
stuff.
Yeah, it looks like it wants to keep dropping it like it's hot. That's what it looks like to me.
Did I call a put on Google last week? I know
Mm, I don't remember.
the 15-minute on Google is saying, let's look at the hourly. I think it just consolidates in this range. What's this news say? Fun fact, Microsoft plans to invest $80 billion in AI infrastructure by 2025. It is 2025, aligning with the trend among tech companies to seek alternatives to NVIDIA chips. They have not been saying alternatives to NVIDIA chips.
You have.
So let's see what range.
Isn't
Um,
Meta developing their own chip? If I'm not wrong.
I can't remember, but
Somebody in the last week or so, somebody has said that they're developing their own chip, and I feel like it was Meta.
Meta is a force to be reckoned with. It really is. I'm trying to see what CJ know the range with his what's it called? That BB thing. What's it called? Bollinger Bands. Um where's my parallel channel? So between 408 and 420 right now, it looks like to me it wants to hmm hmm looks like to me it wants to head up to the top of the range right now, to the 420 level. And really, if you look at it, Amazon has been kind of doing the same thing for the last 2 days. But if Microsoft is any indication, it's doing the same thing.
Morning. I do see AppGo. Rita. What is it? Oh,
I'm just sitting here looking perplexed. So Microsoft, Amazon, Google. Microsoft and Google have had significant drops compared to Amazon. So that to me makes me expect more of a drop on Amazon. What did Rita ask about? Just the steady drop.
No, but just if we saw the action on Avgo, it's up quite nice today after its little drop. I think we're just doing the whole
I
Monday
honestly had
move,
from
shakeout.
over the weekend, I had an Avgo put at the very top of, you know how I do my little document with the stuff I'm looking at. So I had an Avgo put, and I decided not to put it in the chat this morning, but I'll be watching for it because this could be like just a fake out.
Could be.
There's a gap to be filled though between like 231 and 243,
Yep.
but we are at our resistance is at 229.
Hmm.
Cool. All right, let's see. I also had this BYRN. Like I was looking at a lot of stuff over the weekend, and I had a call on, where is it? A $35 call on BYRN for March 21st, 25. But when I went back to it this morning, I couldn't remember why or even what they did. So I don't know if I put that one in there either. But BYRN, whatever they do, is at 33.
Whatever they do.
It's electronic defense. I think I remember they less lethal defense, and I couldn't wrap my mind around it, so I didn't put it in there. But let's see what we can trade. What are some potential entry opportunities?
That's what I'm sitting here waiting on. I'd like to see. It seems like the market is just kind of cautious right this second.
I like A Lab. I like how A Lab is shaping up for our entry. Go back. I think. Let me
And
see.
Nvidia, darn Nvidia. So Nvidia and LRCX are moving quite nicely.
I think
Um,
damn is a safe word. Like we could say damn, but we um
nope, I'm gonna try my very very best to remain curse word free
there you
of any
go.
sort. So I
There
have a
you
friend.
go.
Her mom was just so Christian. Like if she wanted to curse, she would say bad word. It was like riding down the highway and somebody cut her off. Oh, bad word, bad word.
Who was this?
A friend of mine, her mother, that lady just did not curse. If she wanted to curse, she just said bad word.
Mm,
It was actually kind of bizarre. He riding down the highway and was like, bad word. The first time it ever happened. It's like, she's like, don't worry about it. That's just my mom.
I was not that kind of mom. Why do I feel like I have an idea who you're talking about? But so let me see. Is my chart showing?
Mm, it
Oh,
is.
it is. So A Lab was one of the ones, one of the plays that I put in the chat this morning. And you guys know I like to trade these red candles with the wicks. SMCI, not SMCI. Where'd that come from? Stochastic is on our side right now. Let's look at even on the 4 hour. Stochastic is on our side. It's saying that we should aim to get to 118. Let's look at the lowest time frame. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait just to see how the next 5 to 15 minutes play out. But I think that this is going to be probably my first trade of the day, and part of that is because I just am tired for whatever reason.
I
And too
think it's because
lazy.
we're old.
Definitely fell asleep after the halftime show yesterday, but go Eagles. Um,
I haven't
So
even
that
watched the news. I'm pretty
really
sure them
get
people were all up and down Broad Street.
got. Oh, you know it. You know it. I gotta watch the news today. Gotta get back in China, man. Listen, but everything is set up to run. Let me get in these damn contracts. Hold on. Let me find us some China contracts. If you're in the mentorship, you know where I like to find my contracts, and you know exact. Ooh, wait, no, this can't be right. Right.
What?
I'm looking at this contract, and I'm not gonna say it out loud because you need to be in the mentorship to get the juicy good stuff. But there are two. I can't believe these contracts are this cheap. Let me drop them in the chat real quick. So I'm going to enter those.
Mm.
I want to. Is that like? Am I tripping? I think that this site is on a 15-minute delay, so that could be a part of it. But I'll let you know here in a minute. Not the ideal dates, but the what's the name was undeniable. The open interest and volume was undeniable, and I
Mhm.
don't think that the IV was. Yeah, that site was lying. Cause wait a minute, maybe I'm looking at the wrong contract. Yeah, yeah. I still like it though. I mean, I'm gonna grab those. It's a lot more expensive than what I originally posted. But I have to remember that for some reason, even though it's a premium account.
You
Oh,
might want
that's
to
why.
contact them and find out.
No,
Like,
I'm looking at puts. So that's why. That's why I'm seeing these crazy prices that I'm seeing. That's respectable. Grab a couple of those. And I want to buy that as well. At market. Now I'm going to, before I hit submit on this trade, I want to just watch the 5 minute to make sure that I'm not jumping under a falling knife. And I do honestly think I got a revenge trading thing going on with Baba, but I do think that the mere fact that PDD owns Timu really makes it a better China play. There's another one. Let's look at Greg taking a beating for whatever reason. But the candles can be deceiving because I'm saying it's taking a beating, but it's a whole 14 cent worth of movement. I do think that. What do you think about that? I think that the popularity of Timu is TikTok esque, and that people have kind of forgotten how vast and how similar Baba is to Amazon. Um, but so yeah, I think that Timu kind of makes where the hell is Jack Ma? And all of those issues that he created running his mouth might make PDD or even Baidu, because Baidu is also involved in the cloud space, a better China trade than Baba.
I would agree with that. As a whole, actually. Um, but yeah, where is Jack Ma?
Teaching at some listen, he's teaching at some college somewhere, some not even a Ivy League school. Poor guy. He should have just shut up.
Like
But
in
so
China or
I can't remember. I posted it somewhere, but I'll look again. I think I want to say I don't remember. But I want to point this out real quick. Remember, I was like, all right, I'm going to jump in this, but let me watch my 5 minute to make sure
Mhm.
that I don't jump under a fallen knife and Also, remember that I like to enter on red candles. I'm glad I didn't jump in those those contracts, because I'm going to get them for a lot cheaper. But I've sat here and talked and let my coffee go ice cold, Natasha. And so,
Again? Say it
you know,
ain't
I got to
so.
do this. I'm going to turn my camera off and mute and run and heat this coffee up. But if you let me do this real quick to get you guys to what, at least to give you some insight into where I want to enter this trade before I go. Where and how. So could draw a fib there. Let me put it on the 15 and wait for it to hit the 50, which would be nice. Let's see. Yeah, right off of this area right here. So between 105.17 and 105.68, hopefully it does not bounce from this level while I'm heating my coffee up. But I'll be right back. If you want to share your screen, go ahead. I'll take mine down.
Okay. Actually, I'll share. So I am actually looking at an entry here on ANET, and so I'm digging this here retrace that we got going on. It looks positioned very well. And what did we say? The earnings are February the 18th, so I don't expect it to stay down. Looking for, like I said, a slightly better entry. It opened it, so we're below right now where we opened, but I think that we may be able to get a slightly better entry here. Like I said, we don't have the fibs drawn on here, but I think we could see 130, and it's probably a little easier to see that here when we drop it to the daily. I don't see any reason why we can't get to 130 by earnings. Um, I will probably be looking somewhere 125, 126 in terms of contract price. Um, and I will probably, actually, let me look at these now. I like, yeah, the 124, 124. I don't know why there's no volume here. I like the 37 125s. I like them a little better for 314, but there's no volume on it today. Um, so what am I taking? I think I'm gonna go with the 125 March 7. Yep, that's where I think we're going with that. Yeah, so I definitely expect this to go in the money before earnings. It's just been moving.
We
It
were
bounced up off of 103 and just kept going. Huh?
just waiting, just in 110s, waiting for it to break 110. So, amen to whoever held that. Come on.
Oh, yeah. I said the 110s and the 115s paid very nicely.
I think
Very, very nicely.
now I did miss a trade, like an entry, while I was off heating my coffee up, but Wait, still printing red candles. Let me. I'm gonna enter. I got nothing better to do, and I'm confident in the trade, so that's important. Prices come down a little bit, I think. All right, I need something else that I'm highly convicted about.
Hmm,
Let's talk about. I
I
wanna
don't know. Go ahead.
very podcasty. Um, what
'Cause I think
what are
my
your go? So
what is
okay,
what?
let me ask the question, and then what are your thoughts on overtrading? How do you define overtrading for yourself and for newer traders?
Um, that's a good one. So for myself, it's definitely when I find myself taking trades just because I can. So like I will find like I might be up $1,100, $1,200, $1,300. When I start saying I am done for the day, and then I keep going back at it, that to me is over trading. And I think a recipe for losing your money. Like, um, okay, Broadcom, look at you go. Um, but yeah, just when you know you should stop, when you've already acquired your profit for the day, and you just keep going back. And especially when you're losing money and you keep trading, trying to get it back. That to me is where I find that you're over trading.
I think that
Not
that
you per
is
se,
a
but an
definite.
individual. Huh?
I would agree that that is a definite recipe for disaster. Um, so I'm sorry, I saw something that distracted me a little bit. That's a great definition of overtrading, and I do that, and so now I think a part of it is the obligation of looking at charts a lot more, and the obligation of being here from 9 to 11 every morning kind of has started to lend to that for me. I'll say on here I'm done 3 times and I'll see something else because we are here looking at charts and enter. So I'm trying to be very mindful of going heavy in things that I'm really convicted in versus jumping in um little by little in everything I see. Does that make sense?
Absolutely does.
Okay. Sometimes I get rambly, but yeah. So to the people in the mentorship and just in general to anybody watching, especially if you're getting signals, I would recommend based on my experience that you check behind whoever you may be taking signals from, look at the chart, find something or a couple things that you are really convicted in personally and trades that you agree with, and go heavy in those and hold them as opposed to jumping in and out of a bunch of trades all day over the course of the week. I'm sure your accountant would appreciate that as well.
Who, Dougie? What's your thoughts on this Nvidia? It's been making a comeback here.
Okay, I jumped in. I'm glad I jumped in, Baba, where I did. Let's look at NVIDIA. Go ahead now. You know, we had jumped in those plays on a Friday. And I did it right at the close, just based on I remember hearing it. And so I jumped in several different expiration dates. And I think it was, yep, Friday the 24th, right before the whole market took a route in response to something. And so I need
That was
NVIDIA to be doing this.
those reciprocal tariffs. That's what that was.
Which week was the deep seek? Was that
two
that
weeks
week though?
ago.
Mm.
It was like 2 weeks ago.
So I think this drop that I jumped in here on was actually the DeepSeek news. But Nvidia, interestingly, is very overbought, as you could probably imagine on a 4-hour chart, and is
Mm-hmm.
right at the 200. 200 is at 135.13. So we'll probably start to consolidate or maybe even pull back here. Um, so just be mindful of that. Let me see what AMD is doing. AMD's got a nice double bottom on the 4-hour, and it is above our lower time period moving averages on the hourly. And on the 15, it has traded above and back into the 200, which is an ideal entry, especially for a short term trade. Up to my next fib level is 111. Mm-hmm.
You said, mm-hmm. Just kind of curious to see where this goes. I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't call myself apprehensive, but I'm definitely taking profit where I see it and looking for the
Remember,
best entry.
I told you about, so I've been trying to figure out the FDA tracker thing, right?
Yes.
And last week I came across on there something called SWTX. And so I'm just scrolling through my list this morning and I happened to see, maybe I bought some shares. I hope I bought some shares. But now I know how to pay attention to and what to pay attention to on that tracker because it's up 40% this morning.
Oh.
So now we have that tool, that resource, and I kind of am figuring out how to use it to our benefit. Um, that's why my subscriptions just keep going up and up and up.
Mm-hmm.
STS, Space Mobile, is another one that I'm sure is in the chat. I'm sure I mentioned that to you guys. QNTM is ready to take another run, it looks like. Yep. So if I were in the chat, I would just search QNTM and see what the play was on that and look at the chart.
Now, I have a tendency when I buy hard shares, once they've appreciated 100%, I will typically sell half and just keep the rest for free. Is that like when you're buying some of like this FPay? Is this going to be a short term or a long term position? Are we just looking at that as the trade in lieu of an option play, or are we looking at that as something that you're going to hold long term?
I like FPay for long term because it's so cheap and because of the industry that it's in and just the whole macroeconomic perspective of it. But I am not above selling all of those shares. If I look and it's up 60 or 70% one day, I might sell them all and wait for a retrace and buy them again.
Okay.
Um, so I do have a long-term intention, but I will take profit still. I like your idea about selling half and then just leaving the rest.
I mean, it works. It works really well for me. It allows me to, like, I was talking to somebody like, oh my God, and I'm down. And it's like, well, eh, if I sold half and essentially what I'm keeping is free, I don't want to say it can, you know, go all the way down or, but at the end of the day, I'm far less concerned. It's just like, oh, it's
It
easier to
does.
set it and forget about it.
It absolutely happens, especially with some of the smaller penny stocks like sub $1, where they'll just go completely defunct. Um, and so that's one of the reasons why I have that and another experience that I had learned to take profit. Because they'll just some of them are rug pulls like crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you got up there, TSM?
Yeah, I was just looking at it and just, I kind of tend to rotate between things that we've looked at. This goddamn coin is getting on my nerves.
Tesla
It's just
is
going.
setting up something or setting up somebody.
But it does this every day. It drops and then it has a bounce and like so. I'm not at all surprised. I know you can't be.
I'm waiting to see what it does at these moving averages to see what direction we gonna go in. They did get that massive upgrade to like 462 or 426 this morning, which I think is just completely asinine, but whatever.
I mean,
Um,
that pays to be Trump's buddy. But
Not
we're not
just
gonna talk
that, when analysts not just that, when analysts have decided to take you on, right? Take these companies on, then they kind of have an interest in the share price rising. And so that I think that lends to them just saying anything sometimes and doing stuff that you don't quite understand. At least that's my experience from what I see. You know how I'm very vocal about the fact that I don't appreciate analysts. But some of their stuff does move the market.
Yep. What was her name? So Gary Black, and what's that lady's name? The one who she's like the lead analyst on Apple. I haven't heard her in a while because Apple is a good predictable mover in order to make consistent money, but Apple really hasn't been doing too much of anything.
I'm trying to find something else that I am. Upstart is looking really good
Yeah,
going
that
into
was on my
earnings.
radar this morning. Upstart. I feel like, let me go look. I feel like they have earnings this week, maybe.
They have earnings. Is it this week? Yep, 211.
Looking.
But
Okay.
the play went in the chat this morning and I'm so busy talking that I probably missed the entry the ideal entry anyway. We'll get some
There you
retrace.
go. Right back to 5:30 on the cues, like we talked about.
You got your chart up? Let me see.
For the cues, it's right here.
What was the range that you said is trading in?
Basically this 5:30 to 5:30 to about 5:20. Look, if you look at the daily, where this thing
Mm-hmm. Yep.
518. We're just kind of bouncing around back in here, and if we can get to this 532 ish, I'll be looking for a put. I mean, 532 ish. I'll be looking for a put. And patiently waiting my put setup here for for SPX too. Every day, every day it has gone up, and then at some point during the day we start coming down. Actually, I should be looking at the what is it on?
I'm not bummed, but I'm disappointed. I'll use the word disappointed about SWTX because I knew it. I knew it. And I did not. It's just so much stuff. It's impossible to watch it all. A notebook helps, but missed that one. Let's see. So I'm stalking Upstart for a retrace because I'm highly convicted in that, and I don't think what I want to be cautious of is the IV before I take it. But the IV is probably crazy.
Let me take a look at this data dog. Hmm.
Thank you. I jumped in something called CIFR. I don't think I ever mentioned it, but CIFR is probably gonna create a new short-term high here, bouncing off the 200 moving average.
Mm,
Yes. I'm just quietly scrolling through my watch list to see what's what. ACN, Carvana. Let's revisit Carvana.
actually, I was looking at this morning too. Aren't they? What are they
They
doing?
report on they're flat right now, and they report next week, next Tuesday, I think, and they're flat. And everything about this daily chart is telling me to expect a retrace. And so if I felt like it, what I would do is I would draw a fib on the 4 hour, but I'm just not that interested. But for anyone who is interested, that's what I would do. Or I would draw a fib from the November 25th high to the low on around January 5th and see what you're working with. I think Carvana could go to that first profit target on the fib off earnings.
Hmm, let's see. What has Datadog done for earnings? Mm,
Mbot was up 20% in pre-market and it's down 15% now. That's one of the reasons why I like shares, because I could have taken profit in pre-market on shares. Quantum. Quantum QNTM is a biotech company, and we traded it last week. It's looking to create a new high. Let me look back at Upstart. Hmm. And Baba.
good old Baba. I'm telling you,
Hold on.
I'm quite impressed. I'm just very impressed at its movement.
By China? China stocks right now?
Baba, China in general. In general.
I can't wait for
What
it to be.
for a while, like Baba couldn't have consecutive good days, right? So, um, I don't know. Perhaps I'm a little bit was a little bit prejudiced isn't the word, but biased, and it's biased, and I felt yeah, I felt like it was definitely not going to move in that way.
Yeah, I
I didn't
think
think it
that
had
they
it in
just
it.
um you and so again, I just go back to nothing that has happened or been said has impacted, with the exception of probably that US PS move, has really impacted anything about their business model. They do telehealth, they do cloud, which you don't have to ship cloud services. So they do just about, if not more than Amazon does. And so I just think that it is all smoke and mirrors that's been keeping it down. And I think that there are going to be some concessions made and that this thing will end favorably. Maybe. I could be crazy. But with the US and China.
Quite possibly. Listen, I think some of that is like when you can't beat them, you join them.
But who can't be who, though, is the question.
Um, what's going on?
I know that
Oh,
my ego, personally, my ego has gotten me into some fights that perhaps
so
I
no, so I'm talking about like just like so you see Mexico is giving us more border security, giving us more border security from their own forces. You see stuff like that happening. Um, yeah.
what
Me-
my the point that I was trying to make is I think that we have two well matched egos when it comes to China and the US right now. And so I think they're both probably thinking the same thing is that I'm going to win at all costs. What that looks like, I don't know. But that's the impression that I get of China. Um, I don't know. I don't see him backing down, but we'll see. It's interesting. Certainly interesting. I'm looking at
Mhm.
Upstart. I'm probably going to hang
And
my
I'm
hat there.
stalking.
Let
I
me check
am
that.
stalking. Let's take a look at Twilio. I am stalking this Twilio 150.
I was going
But
to
I
ask
want
you
to
a
see.
question that I already know the answer to. I feel like I know
Mm-hmm.
the answer to it. Um, and that is this is not so at least recently. This is not really typical for you, is it? Sitting here for 2 hours in the morning doing this.
Nope, it's not.
How is it? How I think you are reacclimating well, but I think you enjoy it. I think trading is, or am I completely off?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's kind of what I enjoy doing. Like I said, remember somebody made it not fun
Oh,
to actually interact with people while trading.
oh,
And from being a trader, trading can be a very solitary kind of thing.
mm-hmm.
Mm,
Very, very.
uh, Yeah, I think I want to take my Twilio here. I was trying to get the contract at $4, but I'm gonna go ahead and cough it up.
I'm looking at the IV on Upstart, and I'm just like, I don't want to be victim um to the IV crush.
No, I probably wouldn't. You know how I feel about holding through earnings.
Hmm. It's one of those stocks that, so I'm thinking, one thing I'm thinking is maybe I can go out to like July or January on a contract. The other thing is that I like Upstart as an investment. So that's a part of it. Where did it go? Oh, I want to show all dates.
We're approaching this 10:30. You know that how I feel about 10:30 as well.
So for example, in the
um,
interest of not having 1,000 trades open, at least 1,000 short-term trades, there is a June $90 Upstart call. It's about $1,000. Um, Decent open interest. And the IV is relatively low. It's 89% compared to 160% on the shorter term contracts. So that might be an option for some. Let's see. I think, am I trying to force it? I might be trying to force it.
What, Upstart or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so I'm gonna tell you what one of my issues is, and we talk about mindset. We try to talk about mindset with the people in the mentorships, particularly those who would say, like, I got an issue with mindset. Um, is I don't like to like the SWTX trade. I don't like to know something and miss it. So if I come in here Thursday and Upstart is up 80%, and I knew it and I did not trade it, I'll be pissed. Even if Ivy Crush kills the trade, I'll be upset that I knew it and I wasn't involved. That's one of my mindset issues, but I'm aware of it. And so when it comes up, now this is one I'll take. There's an Upstart $90 221 that I kind of like. And it is, I'm not even going to quote the price because I know it's wrong due to that 15-minute thing. And my first of all,
So you said the Upstart 221.
221.90. Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
One thing I want to check before I do anything is make sure that I'm not already in Upstart somewhere.
I don't know what you're saying, but the bid is 272, ask is 294.
Okay, so that's close. Bar chart has a hellified delay. Let me see what they're saying. What did you say the quote was?
So the bid is 272, the ask is 290. Last trade at 290. And it just came down to ask of 288.
Okay, so it's pretty accurate. Where do I want to open this trade? I'm gonna open it over here. Yeah, I'm gonna open it over here. Trade. What's your favorite trading platform, Natasha? Or your favorite brokerage, I should say.
I actually, so I have an affinity for Robinhood because it just kind of lets me roam about and still execute my trades. But like if I'm just sitting and trading like I am now, Fidelity.
Are you using one of those advanced things? Because I don't like Fidelity at all.
What do you mean by advanced things?
So like it used to be they don't have Thinkorswim, but something like Thinkorswim. Cause
No,
just
just
operating
regular.
it the way I do is clunky to me.
I think it was where I started, so it's just, something I think E-Trade is clunky.
I love E-Trade.
I can't stand E-Trade.
Mm, that is what's good about. I think a lot of it though is just depends on where you started and what you get comfortable with. Because I absolutely prefer to take all my trades on E-Trade.
Yeah, and I put their quotes. Jeez, look at you, Tesla. I mean, Nvidia. Oh, yeah, it seems like it wants to go. What?
Baba's running. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I think Upstart is going to potentially pull back or go flat shortly. But I left myself some room to double down. And then I took those really short contracts. I do think that it can easily get to 90 by earnings or off of earnings. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get a surprise because I think that the sentiment is just, yeah, Upstart is going to run. And so sometimes they just purposely go against the sentiment.
I mean, I've seen that happen.
What the heck did
Hmm.
SMTC do? Number one, I feel like there are far too many semiconductor companies in the world. Like Lash Tex. um, But what happened? What did they do that has caused what I'm seeing here? They're down 33% today, and they probably were down 20% Friday. Let me see if I can see. With a price target of $68, and what the, I don't know. I don't feel like looking into it, but I would be interested to see what news caused them to drop like that. It wasn't earnings; they haven't reported yet. But put that on your radar. Not you, Natasha, specifically, but people watching. Put that on your radar because it's had such a significant decline here recently that, and it has a decent earnings history, that it could be a really good bounce off of earnings.
Actually, I'm gonna.
I keep saying the same thing about lunar too. That moon launch is going to happen. AMSC is set up, but that moon launch is going to happen. Ooh, a firm is running. That's something else we called last week. We've been on
Mm,
fire, young lady, old
I
lady.
know. It was just like, but it doesn't seem like the people in the back are making any money.
I don't
I
know.
hope
They
they are.
probably are. You know, we are
Better
prone
be.
to not want to talk about our wallets. So I think they are. They're certainly not paying for our company.
Well, I feel like we're entertaining. I don't know. I might pay to see us.
I think I'm hella funny, but
I'm
my
telling
mother
you.
doesn't.
Well, you know,
Tough crowd,
maybe
tough
she
crowd.
think you were funny with a chicken hat on.
Mm, I would take the chicken hat if it wasn't a sentimental thing.
Do you want me to ask if you can have the chicken hat?
It'll probably be like, please take that chicken hat.
Oh, that's so fucking. That's funny.
SoFi, SoFi. Okay,
That is
SoFi.
hilarious.
SoFi has broken resistance, and okay, we might make it back to
Mhm.
16. So looking at these innovative tech companies, like let me just look at, if you got your charts up, pull up Monday and
What's the
look
ticker?
at the,
MNDY.
yeah, look at the freaking move we missed. That's why I like to trade innovation. Um,
I feel like was intending to look at. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle, Jiminy Crickets.
exactly. You're not gonna see moves like that in Costco and freaking Home Depot and McDonald's. That's why I don't
Jeez
trade that stuff.
Louise. Good
And
gravy.
I almost feel like you're not gonna see. I guess Avgo disproves that, but you'll start to see less moves like that in those more established tech companies, and I think that money is rolling into innovation. I'm kind of familiar with what Monday does because I've
I'm
started
kind
a,
of curious with the move it just had. Jiminy Crickets.
so they are an efficiency company, basically, is what I would call them. And so from entrepreneurs to employees use Monday to make their work life more efficient and kind of automated.
Hmm.
So I think that's where the money is going. And that's why my watch list is made up of primarily those companies.
Well, I like it. I like it.
Nothing else is jumping out at me. UMAC is one that I had not previously mentioned. And look at net. No, not okay, yeah, net. One that I
Unusual
had
machine.
previously.
Okay.
Yep. And I don't know
That's
if I'm being
interesting.
lazy or if I'm tired or if I don't know what it is, but take a look at, not you talking to,
Look at him go, 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 go.
who is that?
Have go. Hmm. It's going.
Tesla is probably about to break down here. Possibly. Let me look at Avgo.
See, like, and I
Mm.
just, I don't know. Am I the only person who gets annoyed by stuff like this? Because why is it that Tesla move like, okay, so great, they got an upgrade. Like, but
But they're about to drop. So based on my just watching them on the chart, they do this all the time. Is I think what they have done this morning is trade up into those moving averages, the 21 and the 50 and the 7-9 level, and that will be resistance and they'll drop again. If not, then you know you should jump in a 400 call. But I think that's what's probably going to happen with Tesla. I think Tesla is taking the beating that it deserves right now. But when it comes back, it's going to come back.
rightfully so, yes. Which is interesting, interestingly enough, I feel like it's one of those things. It's good for, because just like with the trades that I've been taking on SPX and SPY, like it is reliably behaving in this manner, right? It's easy to see it coming. So there's that.
This
There's
oh
that.
hold on, let me I closed the heat vent in my room because I'm gonna tell you a funny story. I was doing my Amazon sourcing stuff last night, right? It's like 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like pulling my coat off, I'm pulling my clothes off, I'm hot, and I'm going outside into the parking lot. And I get to the parking lot, turn the car on, it's 34 degrees, and I'm like, yo, how are you this hot? So anyway, I came home and I closed the vent, but I'm cold now, so I'm
It's
mute.
because you don't have a chicken hat.
Okay. Um, hold on, I'll be right back. And then I'll tell you a story just to keep the people entertained about my Amazon sourcing stuff. I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Looks like, I don't know. I'm just, like I said, just still sitting here waiting on my entry. I did get into Twilio. I'm up about 4 or 5%. Nothing major. But I also bought this in anticipation of earnings, which are the 13th. So I will definitely exit this trade. Hmm, probably in the next day or two. I will not hold it through these contracts through earnings. My ANUT is doing pretty good. We're up 5% there too. Um, I wouldn't say that I'm not enthused about 5%. I just know that it has the potential to go much further than where it is right now. I think we talked about PANW last week and it hitting 200 as a target. We're firmly sitting here at 198. So yeah, I mean, there's still room for a good amount of this stuff to run. PANW though, their earnings are February 13th as well. So that's not something I would be holding. If you're still in those contracts, I've taken all of my profit from there and gone. If any of you took that Broadcom, Rita, are you with us? I don't know. I'm just wondering if anybody took that Avgo because it's a go 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 go.
Now
I'm
Baba got
hungry.
right to my
You're
point
back.
five fib level. Yep.
Oh,
Baba went right to the point five, which is profit target one, and turned around on a dime. But I think I got enough. I think I took something with enough time on it. So that's good. Upstart is looking good. Trying to find one more thing. And then I swear I'm gonna be done for the day. A kind of a diversification play. So I'm in China. I'm in finance, I guess fintech with Upstart. I should have some Affirm open somewhere. Affirm is still running. That's one we called last week. Need a diversification play. Rocket Lab, maybe. Rocket Lab is set up nicely, actually. Mm,
Dang it! I missed my entry on Roblox again.
Now that would have been a nice diversification play. Did you though?
Mm,
Did you?
I mean, yeah, I probably wanted it down here. It's up, but Roblox is going to be. Let me see. I'm looking for a way out contract on Roblox though. Not way out. Way out for me is what I would say.
What's way out for you?
Um, like July.
Oh yeah, that's way out for you for sure.
But I really, really, really like this July 75. There's a lot of open interest, no volume on it today. We're gonna even do June. Let's see. Let's walk the chain and find the open interest. Um, the 75 620s are not bad. Not
Hmm.
bad. $4 right about now. I think it can absolutely get back to 75 um by June for sure.
Let me look at Dave. Dave is another fintech, I think. Hmm. That just had a golden cross. Where was the golden cross? What time frame? I don't see it. I guess on the 15th. I'm looking at all of those alerts that went off this morning. Mm, hmm. INUV has a nice setup on the hourly. Oh, it's a penny stock too.
You said INUV.
Mm-hmm. Let's look at we talked about and let's see what X is doing. Okay. X and what else did I MO. Damn, Gina. Remember I said
Chicken hat.
MO. It's not it looks significant. That's why I don't like trading these companies because but I mean it's a winning trade. But we talked about in the chat this morning MO and TAP. Tap, not so much, but MO is definitely doing this thing. What else did I mention to them in the chat? I think that was it. MO is going though. Let me look at it on a higher time frame. MO is a nice setup, guys. I don't think I gave them contracts, but definitely promising. I should probably get in that. That's a nice diversification play. Since I said that's what I was looking for. Um, oh hell yeah. And the reason I'm saying that, let me see where it's got $25 of potential. Um,
Hello.
mm-hmm. I'm
Let me
looking
go
at
take a look.
looking at
MO.
the monthly chart. And if you look at the monthly chart, the setup, draw fib, we bounced off the 886. Wow. Um, a year ago. and we're a bucket.
Oh yeah, no.
I like that setup. If that's, I know the contracts have got to be cheap. So that could definitely be a nice at the money leap to go into my leap bucket. I like high volatility stuff too. And so MO I think was probably in my circle of 20, but I've never traded it. Hey Antoine, I don't know if you still with us. I was on a live yesterday on I would consider him a friend, on a friend of mine's channel. And I met Antoine, and so Antoine popped in today. That's pretty dope. Hey AC, I'm just obviously really late looking at the chat. Not too late. So
You know what? Like if you're so mine is covered most of the time. I was getting it
Rita, what did you say
where it
you
was telling me.
sold early? I just put it up on the screen. I just kind of figured out how to put it up on the screen so now I can see what everybody's saying.
And now I don't see the chat. Oh, there we go. No, that's a private chat. I don't know. I saw it. It was there for me a minute ago, and it's okay. And it is all.
Let's see what's going on. Is FPay is up. It's at a
Yeah,
resistance
that
level though.
it moved quite nicely.
I like penny stocks because I don't know. I just like them because I'll look and I'll see, oh, okay, that one's up 75% today. And that is usually when I am like induced into taking profit, even on stuff I intend to hold. But and so you asked earlier about how many shares you're gonna buy. So I would say stuff like if you put $1,000 in a penny stock and you wake up one day and it's up 76%. And so I base it on that. That's why I kind of like
Mm-hmm.
to use I'll say $100, $1,000, $10,000 things. And you just kind of watch them in your watch list and you know, and I'm not talking to you. I know you know. But you know, okay, this one has the potential to move, or I've seen this one move 50, 60, 70% several times. You wait for it to pull back, and then you get in and wait for that 50, 60, 70% move, and you jump out.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and I'm not averse to buying options that are $1,500, $2,000, depending on what it is. And I'd be happy to take, a 60% profit on a $1,500 option. Easy.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm gonna try to rope you into just the idea of longer term trades. And likewise, I'm gonna start to take some shorter term trades based on your calls. Um, but I think I
I mean, I've been batting 1,000 here lately.
right.
So, um, I'm really, kind of, you talked about this earlier. It was like the whole, um, knowing something's going to happen. Like, I'm so annoyed with myself with this
Roblox.
Roblox. I didn't try to get it. I didn't, yes, because I've been getting into it like 4 different times now. And, and we get to talking about something else or doing something else, and I forget about it. I've been doing this since last week.
I know, I know, I know. But how many good
I got to
trades
do
have
better.
you gotten in and taken profit on in that time? So there's that.
Quite a
There's that.
few.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Happy.
But
You like being
I
right.
like Roblox as a
Oh,
but I like it as a one of those longer, one of those to hold for a longer period of time. I absolutely love it for that.
I think I read something about Roblox this morning, about kind of their roadmap and what their intentions are, what their goals are in terms of market share. And I can remember old dude and his kid trading Roblox together when I was in Illinois. Um, but they're
Well, everybody got to be old.
huh? So their goals, they
I
like
said,
they
well,
old dude. Um, they have some strong intentions, some strong plans for their growth. And so, how much is Roblox right now? 65,
65.
and they've been as high as
Mm-hmm.
141. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that would be something I would let me look. Let me look. Something I would be interested in taking a leap on.
Doesn't sound like the
Hmm.
worst idea ever.
Nope, a nice $100 January maybe. You can get the
Mm,
what I noticed is you can get January lots of times. You can get a January 2027 for about the same price as a January 2026. So I've been doing some of that as well.
that's the ultimate buy time. I like it.
Mm-hmm. I'm going. We're influencing one another. Let me see what XYZ is doing. Uh, do I can I make sense of what I'm seeing here? Let me look at the
Let's see. You're not
highest time
sharing.
frame fibs. Oh no. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Window. There we go. So just based on this, we just I guess not I guess working off of these higher time frame fib levels. And so double tap at the 0.236 level, head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders at the point 0.5 level, oversold and flattening stochastic on the daily. So I think this is another, when is earnings? 220. So this might, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it drops hard at earnings back down into the 79 200 level.
When are their earnings?
The 24th, the 20th. So there's that. AMZ, one of the traders in the chat last week was like, I'm thinking about entering AMD right here. And let's get on the time frame. On this day, is this Thursday? Yep, I want to say it was Thursday. And I was like, let me just may I? And I said, no, you should wait for it to trade into the moving averages, trade above the moving averages, trade back and use them as support, and then go. And hopefully they did that because that is panning out well. I need to look at Amazon. And so Amazon and Tesla are probably doing something very similar. Yep. So Tesla has traded into the moving averages. Let's call it slightly above the moving averages, and printed a some type of dragonfly or whatever. I don't get into that. And now I would think that we would come down back into this area at the very least, but I'm gonna watch it because I like to scout Tesla. And I'm wondering if Amazon is going to do something similar here. Raise its price target to 280. Hmm.
Mm,
Who do you think is going to buy TikTok?
I don't know. I don't think it'll be Elon.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
Listen, I will go hard in the paint on puts if they announce that he does. That I will be doing. Um, mm, mm.
Let's see what we can do with quantum from here. I was about to make a reference to somebody that used to be in our women's webinar. Oh, women's webinar tonight at 7 Eastern Standard Time. Every Monday at 7 Eastern Standard Time, but the women's webinar is tonight at 7. I was about to make a reference to somebody that used to be on the webinar, but you probably don't know that person. So, but Dawn used to be like, it's running like a streaker. Quantum was running real hard last week, but now it's pulling back. And so I'm looking for another entry there. Crescendo was something that I was interested in, but obviously not interested in enough to mention it. But now it definitely looks like something we should be getting in. I will say this: if I call something and you enter a contract other than the contract that I entered, I cannot be responsible for that. AI is just one example of that having happened. Um, but AI, let's look at a higher time frame perspective. AI will probably um, consolidate here because it's at the 200 moving average. But if we get the right news, AI laps the stock market. If we get the right news, we'll blow right through that 200 moving average. Um, Now where are we going? Okay, 45, $50. When is earnings?
For
February 20th.
AI.
So I'm gonna stop being a thirst ball and jumping in all of these trades, but I will continue to just point stuff out to give those of you who have developed a degree of independence in your trading some ideas of what you can look at and trade independently. So affirm, obviously, this is one that I feel like I don't want to miss. Because I know that launch is coming and I keep saying it. I feel like the Palantir shills. Um, what's Palantir doing this?
Going to the moon.
Still running?
Let's see. I took it off my screen because out of sight, out of mind. Yep, still running up another 3% today, 114.
Nice.
Because why not?
Hmm.
Because why not? So we're coming up on about 5 minutes left. Does anybody have anything that we haven't covered that they'd like to see covered or anything like that? Uh, uh, uh.
Is someone calling me? Is that what's going on right now?
That's right. We got working phone. Yay. We love it.
It's somewhere vibrating and I can't find it.
It's some interesting action. It's very
Planet Labs is about to run again potentially. So I don't. If you have anything that you want to take us out on, I'm more than happy to take my charts down and let you do that. Cause I'm really
No, I mean, I
just
think we've kind of discussed everything that I'm looking at. I implore you all, please, 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 please take your profit. Um, don't know what, the next 20 minutes is going to hold. You saw on Friday where everything was going really well, very ominous, right? Right about this time, and then stuff started dropping out of nowhere. So to say, if you don't take the profit, it's not yours, because you don't make any money until you close a contract. So don't get greedy. Um, I'm very much of the opinion that we should be um, very mindful of the fact that there is some more tariff news coming. There just is. That's what Trump said last Friday, is he would discuss it this week. And as you saw, it can take you could wipe yourself out. Don't be also be mindful of having too many open positions, especially your shorter term positions.
mm-hmm.
And that's all I got for you.
Yep, that is an important note to close on about being careful of having too many open positions, and particularly too many open positions in one industry or sector. And is there anything that I need to be aware about of, because you are my resource for this kind of stuff? Any dates that you know of that he's supposed to speak on any particular topic?
For Trump or for Powell?
Both, I guess. I was talking about
We
Trump.
do have a bunch of Fed speak tomorrow, so also be very aware that so it'll I don't know if you all are familiar with like testimony on the Hill, but they could ask that man anything, and if the market doesn't like his answer, it could send us cratering.
Okay.
Also, just be mindful. We are seeing, we talked about at the very beginning of this call, or whatever we want to call it today, this 530-ish level on the Qs and the potential pullback there. We are approaching some of these levels where you should expect to see a drop. So manage your positions, manage your money. Do you understand that tomorrow we've got Powell on the Hill, and we also have CPI on Wednesday? So
What time is
right now, a
now
lot of these
tomorrow? Is that
markets,
2? Is that a 2 o'clock thing, or is that in the morning?
no, I think that's like, let me see. I think that's like 11 o'clock in the morning. He'll testify for a few hours. I think it's like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
They'll grill him for about a good hour.
Okay. So that give me some insight into what
So,
I need to do before the close today. Um,
mm-hmm.
but all right. It has been an absolute pleasure. Give me a call. I know you got some stuff to do. I know you got some crazy running around to do. Don't forget to check your email and then give me a call when you can, so you can help me with my stuff, coach.
All right, you got it.
Appreciate you.
Happy trading, folks.